Hello everyone. I'm gonna continue building my keyboard overlay. As you can see, my brother finished the layout. There are still some mistakes in the keys that we can solve, but overall it's done and it also works. As you can see, you can see what I'm typing. So what I did was I figured out how to send the events in Rust. So we have this Tauri command that will start a thread with rdev listening for events and then calling this callback. And once the callback gets the event, I do a match to split them by key press, key release, and then emit an event with the key that was pressed. And then in TypeScript, I start the Tauri command, then I listen for the event, and then once I get it, I tried a bunch of different things. One of them was different colors, but it didn't really work, and depending on the background. So then I decided to see if I could emulate an actual key press. So what I did was use CSS animations. They're not like the best animations, but they work. So what I do is I just change the color to be darker, and then I scale the key to squeeze it so it looks like it got pressed. It's a bit smaller. And then when I was doing that, they were jumping around, so I added this transform origin to try to avoid having them moving too much, but still move it a little bit to give the illusion of pressing. And yeah, and that's it. I added a bit of a transition, so you can see it makes a nice effect. So yeah, that's mostly it. It's working. Now some of the keys are not working because the ID on the SVG doesn't match the key. So I'm gonna be fixing that now. Maybe not the most interesting contact, but it has to be done. So let's see. So for example, control doesn't work. So I'm changing the event so I can see here what I'm actually pressing. So you see this one is control left. So now I need to open the SVG. Also need to reload this because I'm injecting the SVG with a JavaScript script. It's here actually. So I'm using this SVG inject that injects the SVG here in line, so I can easily query it. Oh wow, got raided. Hello everyone. First raid. We're working on a keyboard overlay in Tauri and Rust. I can switch the shot setting, I think. Cool. Yeah, so it's in Tauri. It's kind of working. So let me show that. Cool, awesome. Well, thank you for the raid and thank you for joining. See you later. that was awesome. First rate. Yeah, I can show what I'm working on. So this, I'm using Tauri, so it's using Rust and TypeScript. Thank you, Marek. And so let me show you how this works. So every time I change the Rust, it recompiles. And as you can see, it's already kind of working. So what I'm doing is I'm using this library rdev, which emits events when I press the keyboard or move the mouse. Then it's calling this callback here, and then the callback will emit key press or key release on the window on the front end with the key that got pressed. And then, so what it does is here on the front end, I'm calling the init process, so that command that you just saw. And then it will listen for the event key. The app is just to show what I'm typing. So as you can see my keys. So the goal is once I start working on other projects, and I'm starting, so my editor, I'm using Elix, which relies on Vim key bindings. So you can see what keys I'm pressing while I'm working. No, it's not a config builder. It's just a keyboard overlay. So what I did is I'm using an SVG for this. Yeah, so my plan is to use this keyboard overlay on stream. You can see already in the stream it's already there, so you can see what I'm pressing. And then I'm going to be working on other projects, and so you can see what key bindings I use. So as I said, I'm using Elix, and I have everything in. I'm also using the Nix package manager, and I have everything in one configuration file. So you can see here, this config file is where I have my dev environment. So one thing I did is, since I started streaming, I created a new account on my MacBook, and I'm starting everything from scratch so that you can see on stream what I'm building. You mean the keyboard overlay? Ultimate. I mean, it's I can make it bigger, but then it goes on top of the stream. I'm also using an ultra wide, which is probably not ideal. So you mean like this, making it bigger? Then it covers the rest. What I might actually need to do is change my resolution to have a different kind of setup. So what I did is I'm using an ultra wide, so that's why it's this scale. You mean smaller? If I make it too small, I worry that people won't see. So another thing I need to fix is the font and the keys. They're a bit I think they can be improved. Yeah, I know. So the scene, the footer is huge because of the ultra wide. So I can change it. So I have a 34-inch ultra wide, which is 3440 by 1440. What I did is I'm using this app to change the scaling to make everything bigger, so that you can actually read what I'm typing in 1080p. Yeah, so the idea is that you're gonna be able to see what I'm actually doing in Helix, because there's a lot of cool key bindings. I tried to see, there was already some stuff like this that you could use for keys. There's one, I think it's called KeyViz, where you see the keys I've pressed, but I think this is better because you can actually see them, how they are distributed spatially, and you can see my keyboard layout. Why Helix? Well, I've been a Vim user for a long time. Sometimes I jump to VS Code to try the new things, but then I keep coming back. I moved to NeoVim because it's just a better, more modern Vim. But then I was getting a bit annoyed with all the plugins and all the setup. There was still, I did a lot of configurations. Even I was using one called NVShad that has a lot of things built in, but was still too much to get some basic stuff working, and sometimes my plugins will break. And what I think is cool with Helix is that it's good enough to have some sane defaults. Yeah, NVShad is heavy. Maybe I should have started from scratch, my own config, but I feel like I'm already spending too much time in configs, so I just wanted something to work. So, and I'm quite happy so far with Helix. It has some good basic setup, and so Helix with Zelish, it's been working fine. Yes, Rust, all the things I've been. So I have never done Rust before, so I'm new to it. This is the first app I've tried, so and it's quite simple app, even though it took me a while to figure it out. But yeah, I like using. There's a bunch of tools that I use that are written in Rust, so that's cool. And I'm also using this Nix configuration, which also should be great to show everything in one place. So I can just change this and rebuild my dev environment. So I'm gonna put this all on GitHub, and so people can see how this works. So usually on a daily basis, I use TypeScript. So I'm a backend developer, so it's mostly TypeScript. There's a lot of Bash also. In general, script, Bash script, Bash script, and stuff like that. Yeah, but it's mostly backend. I don't do much front end. I've been doing JavaScript for maybe almost 10 years, on and off, but JavaScript keeps changing, so it's like every month there's something new. But yeah, it's mostly TypeScript I'm doing, but I want to try Rust, which is why I thought it was a good idea to try building, because it seemed like having a keyboard overlay would be simple, and there weren't that many options, or the ones that I found were mostly for Windows. So this way, this works everywhere. But yeah, I use mostly TypeScript. I've been also using Nix for quite a while. It's a very nice way to have all your configs. in your environment. I've also used Linux for maybe also more than 10 years, but then I got busy and just went for a Mac. Yeah, some of the key bindings are a bit weird to get used. The line one was a bit weird for me too. But it works. It's just X. You X everything. If you overshoot, you do V and then you go up. Also, I think it was to go to the bottom, G, E, because of G and. So it's, yeah. Takes a bit to use, but it kind of makes sense. GL to go to the end of the line, GS. The cool thing is that it also shows you, I guess you can do the same in NeoVim, but it shows you the key bindings. Yeah. To delete a car, I just use D. It works. Yeah, when I go back to Vim, because sometimes I have to do remote stuff and it's just easier to use Vim, yeah, I get a bit confused too. But yeah, I could also change these key bindings, but then I'm start messing around with the config, which is one thing I wanted to avoid. Just wanting to install. So it's also nice that I can just on any machine install Elix, and the default is good enough for me to get working when I'm working remotely on some AWS instance or something like that. Yeah, I struggled more with the GG than I think the X is also weird. Yeah, I got used to that one quite quickly. I also add, so yeah, one thing that it's missing, but it's also missing some stuff that for me are quite essential. One thing I've added at work that I need to copy here is a way to just open the same code line on GitHub. So that's missing, and you have to do some crazy scripting with the terminal and the leash and all that. I'm not sure if it has plugins. I think so. No, that's not it. Seems like it might be planned. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think they, at least not as NeoVim has. So the cool thing with NeoVim is all the plugins, but for me it was also the drawback. I needed to set up too many things to get a minimal functional editor. Yeah, another thing was LSP for me. So this just works with the Elix. I think Elix had something, was it Elix Doctor? Maybe, no, it's like this. And that was dumb. Health. Yeah, so this is cool. You can see what's working, what's not, and just fix it. so I got, once I install, you know, whatever server for TypeScript language, VS Code, whatever, it works. So that was, yeah, I remember in NeoVim, at some point I got it working, but it was super slow. I would open a file and it would take forever to figure it out. Especially at work, the code base is a nightmare. So everything just takes forever. And Elix was quite faster to figure it out and get all the checking working. So yeah, without messing too much around, you can see my config. Where is the Elix config? It's here, just this. That's the only thing I've set up. So I usually stream around this time. So here it's 6:43, so I start streaming at 6 a.m. 6 to 7, that's currently the only time I have available. So I just wake up early to start streaming before work and before everyone is awake at home. Yeah, I'm in Europe. So the cool thing here, having everything in one config, is that you can see what I'm actually using. So I'm using Elix, I'm using the new shell, which is also quite cool. Yeah, for me the only restriction is having to stream before work. I can also stream sometimes during the weekend. So yeah, when I have some time in the weekends, I can also stream. I'm also using Starship. So I'm using Starship for the prompt and new shell for the terminal. So if I go, I'm actually getting some errors, but you can see that I'm using Starship. It's finding that I have BUM and Node.js in there. But then the shell is actually this. So it's new shell, so it allows you to do all kinds of crazy stuff with columns. I actually don't use it that much in the end, but it's very nice. I'm coming from Fish too. I don't remember exactly why I left Fish, but there was some thing that annoyed me that I couldn't solve. And when I saw new shell, it seems like really cool. And already has a bunch of built-in stuff. It's also Rust, I think. It's Rust. You can do crazy things like this, which at work is also quite useful because sometimes I have to parse some JSON files or some CSVs. And so I can, instead of having some custom-made scripts or having to open it in something, I can just do it like this. Yeah, even for requests, this is awesome. It's for me it's still quite underused, just because I've been busy with other stuff. But like all the things it can do, it's amazing. Sometimes it can be a bit annoying. So if you do, like if I do this, a cat. Oh, it's not doing. No, yeah. I'm confusing now Nick's new shell with. So even for all these tools, cat, I use bat instead of cat. So I have all these the core utils replaced with Rust tools and things like that. So that's something else I need to configure. But then if you do an alias and you replace cat with something else, then in new shell you can just, if you for some reason want to use the original key again, you can just do something like this and it works. Yeah, it's running on Mac. I'm using a MacBook. Just because also for work-related things and in general it just works. I've used Linux for many years, but then I find that it starts becoming kind of a hobby, just maintaining it. And then when everything breaks, it's annoying, and your co-workers have no patience when you're trying to fix Linux. So at least when Mac breaks, everyone is on the same boat. And macOS has some nice things and some nice defaults too. I was using, for installing everything, I was using Homebrew, which is, I guess, the default way on macOS, and you get most of the package you need. But I created a new account for streaming, and I realized you cannot use Homebrew with multi-users. So I decided to go back to Nix for the stream. And it's also something I've wanted for a while, to migrate back all my setup to Nix, so I can have just one file, and then I can, in any other machine, deploy my dev environment. Yeah, I can do that. So all my streams, my previous streams, I'm uploading everything to YouTube. Now, the first streams I'm still learning, so I'm very new streamer, and the first streams are quite painful and really bad. And even the microphone wasn't working. But I've streamed everything I've done since the beginning, from zero, so it's all there. But I might do maybe once I have everything set up, I might do like a proper setting up Nix stream. And Nix has changed a lot since the last time I used it. It's a lot better and easier. Even graphical tools work on the Mac. Now, the Nix support on Mac is still not ideal. Sometimes you find something that's not supported there. But overall, it's been working. Yeah, I mean, just get started, dude. It's that's what I have to say. Like, if you go watch I think I have the link, the YouTube link on my profile. Yeah, but it's quite painful. They're really bad. It's a lot of stuff wasn't working. Still a lot of stuff isn't working. I'm still learning every day, but you just have to do it. I decided, I'll try to stream every day, 1 hour at least. That's the only way to learn and to get used to it. It's still a bit weird, and I wasn't expecting the raid at all. My plan was just to fix some annoying issues with the keyboard overlay, so that was great. Yeah, just do it. Just start streaming. So I have 2 channels on YouTube. I have the main one, which I'm gonna use just for like shorts and things that matter. But then I have the other one, the VOD, which should have. Well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe it only has 1. I've uploaded, but I haven't published them yet. So I'll try to make them all public. But it's all there. It's all uploaded there, so you can see from the beginning, from 0. How I started, and I started very recently, so it might not be the most interesting content, but if you're planning on starting, you can see what I did since the beginning. And still, since I've only have like 6 or 7 streams, maybe that's interesting for you. I'll try to have everything there. Glad you like it. You might need to increase the volume for the first two, maybe, until I figure out I needed like to improve my mic setup. Awesome. Thank you, Paguzar. First fan. If this channel gets big, you'll be always the first fan. But yeah, I'm still getting used a lot to this. Even like I got rated and didn't notice at first. I probably need to improve some way. Oh, I need to add notifications and things like that. That's definitely something I need to figure out. It's not too hard. It's just I don't have time for everything. And I really wanted people to see what I'm typing. So now it's working. I'll do off stream, but I need to fix some of the keys in the SVG. So for example, control isn't working. Or maybe I already rename it. Yeah. So the ID needs to match the key. So I need to just fix that with find and replace. So I'll do that off stream. But yeah, it's working. I tried first. No, not at all. Don't apologize. That's the goal. I'm just feel free to interrupt anytime. I'm still figuring all this out. But yeah, I tried with colors, just changing color. So the first thing the idea I had was just have like layers of image and just play around with the opacity. Every time you press a key, it will change the opacity of one layer, because that seemed like easy enough. But then I thought that might not scale really because of the resolution. If I have like 50 layers on top of each other, this might not work very well. So then I decided just to have this SVG because I can easily change the code. I tried then, and the other thing that could have been cool is I could actually have like RGB and colors and all kinds of stuff happening on the keyboard. But then when I was playing around with the colors, it didn't really work very well. So that's why I did this animation instead, which I think works better. It's still a bit junky animation, but I think works better with any background. I somehow seem to have disabled the background I had for some reason. Not sure what I did. Maybe I changed it from location. Yeah, I was thinking about that, having a history line. But I think for that, I can actually reuse something. So there's this. I'm not sure if this works on the Mac. I'm not sure if this actually this one. Keyviz. Yeah, should be this one. Yeah, something like this maybe, but smaller. I'll see if this works, because yeah, as you said, I think it would be good to have a history below the keyboard. Otherwise, if not, I think I can do something with Tauri. Well, now that I figure out this, it shouldn't be that difficult. Because I think it's nice to be able to see what shortcuts were pressed, while still having the layout to see how the shortcuts made sense spatially. Yeah, this one also might be cool. And it's for Mac. So let's see if it's probably not available on Nix, but we can try. I can also just install it in my other account and it should be available. It's not there. If it was there, I could just add it to the config and have it right away. I'll install it with my other account and see if it works. Yeah, it might be an easy fix for the stream. Yeah, and you can have it quite small, so just below the keyboard. I'm also not sure if I want to keep this layout or change it. I mean, I have this nice empty space below that I can use, but maybe it's a bit too big. But if I change it, then I need to change the scaling, and then I can make it look better on the stream, but then I'll have like black bars on my monitor, which I guess is fine. Yeah, it's available on Homebrew. I don't know what I did on OBS, but I had like an animation. Oh wow, I just realized it's already 7. Guess time flies when you have company. Well, thank you everyone for the raid. That was awesome. I'm gonna have to go. Start getting ready for the day. But this was great. And thank you, Paguzar, for all the questions. And all the ideas. Yeah, I'm gonna try to apply them for next stream. Hope to see you guys in the next one. I have to drop now. Thank you for joining. See ya. Oh yeah, raids. You see, I'm a noob at this thing. I can raid him. Yeah, I like it. It's funny that he has a channel with no mic, but it's still like doing awesome things. Thank you. Bye. I'm gonna raid him. I'm not sure if that worked. Let me try again. He has disabled raids. That's weird. The target channel has disabled raids. Let's see if I can raid someone else. There's no one else that I follow online. I have the... Unless you want to go watch Ferrets. The Ferrets channel is always online. Well, it's for a good cause. If you're watching, you're helping the Taurus rescue center for ferrets, so you can have it in background. Or I can look for a channel. Any suggestion? Pleasure was all mine, thank you. Well, I guess I'll have to skip the raid. There's no one else to raid. Maybe next time. See you guys, hopefully tomorrow. See ya, bye.